So, real quick, I just want to say that my micro SD card for my GoPro, I tried to film like a 12-hour time lapse or 8-hour time lapse of printing all the parts here, but it didn't save for some reason, and I already started filming some parts here, like opening the box. So just pretend that this is like me actually doing it. Alright, so here I 3D printed the parts, and this was my first go at it. I printed the hat, I printed this part here, I made it hollow, that way I could hold some internals such as the batteries or just the antenna. And here I made this eye cap just in case, because the bug has an LED on it, on that red spot there. And I figured I could make that line up here, but if that doesn't work, I'll just paint this, so it is removable. And so this cookie was fine, but I didn't want it to just like sit on top of there, and so I took this same model and I built up around it with like a cylinder, and I hollowed it out, and so now I can hold a lot more material here, and hopefully some of the internals like the motors. My goal here is just to make it so it's not sitting on top and just try to make it like somewhat in there. It's probably not gonna look exactly like it, but that's fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna open this. So here it has separate options. I'll try not to make this like a review for this, but just a little demonstration. I really like the look of this. The transparent blue it reminds me of like a N64 controller or those custom Joy-Con shells. But I really like the look of it. But I'm just gonna have to not go with it. I mean, I'm gonna paint it after all. So I'm just gonna do a little quick test run here. Try to zoom in here. Alright, it's probably gonna be hard to see because of my messy desk. So let me do it over here actually. This black desk here. Okay. So here we are. I go forward. And forward goes wherever this part is aiming. And with this you can turn that. See how it turns when you light up? I hope that can work for this, if I can get the light to go up the tube on the other part, but here we go. Just a quick test run. I can back it up. Kinda loud. Oh, I actually used to have one of these. It was pretty fun to play with. It's been quite some time since I've seen one. But I am gonna have to remove on all of the legs this bottom part here, because I noticed in the pictures it's just like this part here, just like that, and so it doesn't need this part. I hope that doesn't ruin like the structural integrity of it or just the function. But what I am gonna do is start disassembling this and try to get the battery pack to fit in here somehow, so I can get this to just not sit on top, as I mentioned, which it could. I mean, it's not that bad. Here I just laid out some foil, so I don't lose anything. Plus, it'll be easier for you guys to see. And I have this little screwdriver kit I'm borrowing. And now it's time to perform some surgery on this guy. Exacto knife. Pliers. Okay, this made me really nervous, but I got most of it broken down just by the battery back here. The batteries came out in the process, I think they go like this. I'll have to check the footage. But, as you can see, it's just the battery pack here. And I'm hoping that this can fit inside here. Maybe I'll have to trim it. It's not gonna fit, but I'll try to make it fit. So I just discovered that I cannot actually get in there from the bottom. I was hoping I could just unscrew this panel, but the screwdriver only makes it, I mean, this is the wrong tip. Anyways, when I do with the right tip, it only makes it about, like, it's just in front of the screw. Like, okay, so I have my glove on, because I'm gonna have to hold it to paint it. And I'm using the same paint that I've used for, like, my past 3 projects on my channel. Like the only silver that I have, so try to get it all in there. It's gonna be real heavy. I'll just try to build up a thick layer, because as I've said before, you need a really thick layer of this for it to be a nice actual solid silver. It really does look nice in the sun afterwards though. Right, so here you can see I cut out that area, and I'm doing a test fit right now, so that's where I'll put the battery pack, and then I'll just put like a little piece of tape or something. I'll figure that out. But I'm just making sure that it has enough room for the battery pack, and I'm pretty sure it does. I just flipped it open with these pliers again, and it fits. Okay. Okay, so here, it's been a couple of hours. The paint has dried, so I'm gonna just remove the masking tape here. Okay, so now we have the battery pack and the little system here. I tried it before painting it, and for some reason it didn't work, so I'm kind of scared to check it, but it might just be the batteries in the heat, because it's very hot where I am right now. I spray painted this. It's looking, you can see the print lines and everything, even though I did a heavy coat. But I'm gonna try to like weather it with like not a black wash, but a brown wash, I guess you could say. And hopefully that can make it. So I just reloaded these buttons in. They have these little notches and these little parts on the actual plate. And now I'm just gonna snap it in. You can see those little parts there, and the holes here line up. There we go. It's in again. And I have the little switch and the buttons. And I want to put the letter G here, but in like the font that looks like Gru's logo. So I'll try to do that there with the marker. I just want to test everything again to make sure that it's all working, because last time I did it did not work. And it is not working. Why is that? Everything's connected on the circuit board. I don't know why this is working. Maybe these batteries are backwards. Okay, I finally got it to work after a little bit. of, oh, what? Okay, now it's not working. Oh no, it's the sensor. Okay, it's the sensor. I need to line it up better. I'm pretty happy with the way that fits. I just had to cut out more from the side here. As I mentioned, I'll patch that up. And then here, I want to show you if I get this in there. The dimensions really helped on this one being wider and not so laser accurate as the last one was. And so, if it's much better, again, I have the space here to hold the board and to just mount it on here. I think I'll try to mount it like so, and the scanner, I don't know if you can see, or the receiver here, it's gonna be right under in the front. I want it to match up with the eye. Alright, so let me try to go over what I just did here. I used the plastic. I had to do it in multiple tries. I don't know if you can see that. It's probably hard for you to see there. Maybe, here, this background here. You can see the two holes that I punched with the thumbtack. That I used the thumbtack as like a drill bit to sort of drill in there. And I heated the plastic over this piece of wood, thinking that it would like wrap around it, and it didn't work. It actually caught some masking tape on fire, so I almost burnt down my work area here. It's a bit of an over-exaggeration here, but nothing interesting goes on here, so I guess it's fine. So you can see the difference in length there. And so I'm just clipping that because otherwise it would run through the battery pack. So now I'm just gonna screw it in here with the little holes on each side, with the plastic screws on each side with the little holes. So after some time, I finally got it to fit here. It looks like it's just a little window to see in, but it actually serves a purpose, and that's to be removable at some point if you want to change the batteries. So before I start to glue it, I just want to show you the parts. We already saw this. I did the chocolate chips here with some dark brown paint. I only did one coat because I wanted it to look like, not like a perfect cookie, but sort of somewhat cartoony, but I did that, brown wash I was talking about, like a black wash, but with brown paint. And then over here with the eye, I could pop it out here. With the little eye, I painted it red and let that dry partially, and then went with some white to give it the effect like it was lighting up. Because I cannot fit the light from the circuit board up here, I'm just gonna go with this. So I'll just glue that in place. And I did the hat here. I tried to do the logo. It was really hard and it wasn't in its real position. The real position is like in between the black part and the top part here, but I didn't model it with enough space, so I'm just gonna have to go with this here. I'm okay with it. And then I did the remote here. I did Gru's logo, which I think is pretty neat here. This was just label paper that I was practicing on doing it. And I actually covered it up here. Underneath was my first try. I should have tried it out first, but my first try didn't work out, so the label paper, it actually worked better. I kind of like the look of it. So just makes it seem like it's from him, from in the movie. And now I'm just gonna hot glue it together with some hot glue. And yeah, so here's a little time lapse of that. So, I don't know if I covered this yet, but I was fitting everything and I wasn't thinking. I put the battery pack in the top cylinder a little early. I should have slipped it through the actual cookie first, but it disconnected the black wire after a little while. Well, I disconnected the black wire after a little bit, so I just had to solder it on, but I did not have access to a actual soldering iron, so I just used a barbecue lighter here and some of the actual solder, and it worked okay. I also built up with some foam core here, just so it could have an even surface to glue onto the cookie, because this part with the motor here is taller than this part, and I want to make sure it's not just held on by this little spot here. So after a couple of tries, I finally got the little solder right there. I hope it still works. It should. So I just poured a whole 2 sticks of hot glue on this. Or I should say, not poured, squirted? No, that's worse. I put 2 sticks of hot glue on here. And yeah, I don't know if you can even see that. It's in there. It's covering a lot of stuff, actually. And I try to get it around all the wires there, just so they're not too exposed. And it's actually pretty sturdy. It works really well too. Here's a test run. Here, let me get this. Here's a test run. You can see the orientation I did to make sure that the front is the front of the little actual robot here. I just wish it wasn't like so much on here. It looks like I just took a hex plug and just put this on top, but I actually took it apart here. Yeah, I could have obviously changed the files to make it fit better. Maybe I will do that in the future, but I think it looks pretty cool. It has a bit of a drift to it, so I gotta be careful with that. But like I said, pretty happy with. Here are a couple shots of it up close.
Now those are cookie robots!
Alright, well there you have it, a real life cookie robot. Like I said, it's made from a hex bug. You can do this, it's actually pretty simple to model. It just took me about an hour, but I used several reference images as well as videos. So I got it to actually work pretty well. Pretty happy with the design, and it actually looks pretty similar. Obviously, it isn't 100% accurate. Everything from the cookie down it's not that accurate, but I'm fine with it. And yeah, thanks for watching.